Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And that is an example of just how much the National Party lacks in ambition for this country. Because apparently we're supposed to feel that they're doing a good job because the unemployment rate is not at 24%. That's what we're told. We're supposed to be thankful and grateful to that government because we're not at 24% unemployment. Well, Mr. Speaker, when Labor was the government, we boasted the lowest unemployment rate in the OECD. Not just saying, well, gosh, you know, Spain and Portugal and Ireland are ahead of us and Greece are ahead of us. Actually, it was the lowest in the OECD under Labor. But that's because we actually had a plan and we knew what we were doing. And if you want to look for vision these days on the political scene in New Zealand, then you need to look no further than David Shearer's speech on education, because he wasn't prepared to sit back and say, well, as long as we're just a little bit, below Spain and Portugal and Ireland and Greece, we're fine. He wasn't prepared to say that. What David Shearer said is that Labor will ensure the world's best education. The best education in the world is available at every school, because we want every child in every community to have access to world-class education. We're not satisfied with a situation where parents have to drive often past 4 or 5 school gates to get to a school that they feel is the right one for their child. And we do not agree with this idea of charter schools, of actually giving public money over to the private sector to make a profit out of education. In fact, what David Shearer said was that he was the one coming up with the fresh new ideas. He said, we're going to actually deal with the real issues there in the community, but we're going to work with community agencies to put food in low decile schools, the very thing that the national government is in complete denial over. But Labor knows what's going on out in the community, and we have a plan to fix it. We also will extend reading recovery to all schools, because we just can't afford to have kids dropping out without basic skills. And we're also going to introduce clear and easy to understand school report cards to parents so they know what is going on in their schools. The Education Review Office produces reports now, but for most parents it's actually like reading gobbledygook, and I think it's going to be great for parents to get an easy-to-understand report on actually how their school is doing. So those are the commitments from Labor, and that's where a vision is coming from on the political scene in New Zealand at the moment. Contrast that with the National Party. What have they got to say about education? Well, the only plans they have for education are to increase class sizes so that teachers have many more children to try and interact with, and of course we all know, and all the parents throughout this country know, that the quality of education will go down. Well, what are their other plans? Charter schools, as I said before, without qualified teachers. They want to dumb down the quality of teaching by introducing charter schools, and that's the vision that the national government has. And league tables. Now, today we learn possibly exams for 3- and 4-year-olds. That's where they're heading next. That's where they're heading next, because Hekia Parata had plenty of opportunity to deny that she was going down that path in question time today. She absolutely would not deny that work is being done on introducing national standards for our preschool children. 3- and 4-year-olds being under exam pressure, that's not the vision for New Zealand. It's not the vision that Labor has. But it's not only with regard to the threat of exams for 3- and 4-year-olds that they're in trouble with early childhood education, because yesterday the Minister for Social Development, Paula Bennett, was announcing a whole series of compulsions, but compulsions only for the children of beneficiaries to have to take part in early childhood education at ages 3 and 4. But look, here's the strange thing. Costs for early childhood education under this government have risen 4 times the rate of wages have since 2010. So this government's been busily putting fees up in early childhood education, and now they are going to punish beneficiaries because they can't afford to send their children to early childhood education. They're not only going to punish the beneficiaries, but they are going to punish the children of those beneficiaries because they cannot afford to send their children to early childhood education.
Speaker.
Ian McKelvey.